it's too nice out. All right, well, we are going to get started today. Actually, let me see if everyone's on. Oh, we're still missing a few people, but that's okay. They can join us when they get here. We're going to start on our belly, which sometimes can be a little unusual, and sometimes people love to be on their belly. Sometimes people hate to be on their belly. So, but it's nice to put a little pressure on the belly, and then we're just going to start with some back bends. So once you're on your belly, close eyes, stack the hands in. You're going to rest the face on the hands. You're going to turn the head to one side. I thought I had some music going, but I guess I don't. And we're only going to be here for a minute or so. Here we go. And when you come to your breath on your belly, you can feel the back expand as you breathe in. And you can feel the belly press into the mat as you breathe out. So right away, you're going to notice you're going to breathe a little deeper. Take a few focus breaths just like that. Big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we'll turn the head the opposite way. Turn the head to the other direction and just keep that cleansing breath growing until you feel like you have settled in, not only physically, but mentally. And then once you hit that point, we'll seal the lips. And we're going to bring that breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then if your head is not turned to the right, turn the head to the right. And we're going to bring the left knee up into half frog. So you have the knee in line with the hip, ankles in line with knee. Getting a little bit of a hip stretch. So in the class, we're focusing from the neck to the hips. And we, of course, will do some balancing, because when our balance is better, we move a little better. Straighten the left leg. We'll turn the head to the left, pull the right knee up into half frog. If this is too much for your neck, you can have the chin just resting on your hands. And another modification is you could take the hands wide, palms down, and let the face rest on your mat. That'll be a more intense stretch for the neck. Center the chin is straighten the right leg. Rest the chin on the hands. Bring the feet up towards the ceiling. And we're going to do a little windshield wipering back and forth. Feet to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale over to the left. Moving slow so you feel the pressure on the belly and also on the front of the legs on the thighs. Bring them back through center. Lower the feet down. Make sure the legs are straight behind. Tops of the feet are down. And we're going to bring hands under shoulders, elbows in tight. Chin is on the mat. So starting with a small back bend. Lift the head, lift the shoulders, lift the chest. Keep forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up. Lower down. And you could stay with the hands under the shoulders. If you want to lift higher, pull the hands back. Lift the head, lift the shoulders, the chest. No pinching in the low back. Keep the tops of the feet down. And then lower down. We're going to do two more. So core strength. It's the back, it's the belly. Lift up. Moving with the breath. We'll lower down. And once more, lift up, pause your peak forward. And exhaling, we come back onto the mat. Keeping the legs together, we're going to counter those back bends by coming into turtle shell. We'll take hips to heels. Top of the head is down, arms beside you, palms up. Little pressure on the belly again. Move side to side. You might even reach and grab the bottoms of the feet. You could massage the bottoms of the feet. Let's come up to table pose. Once you're in table pose, make sure you're not locking the elbows. And if you need to take a little pressure off the wrist, move the hands forward. Have the gaze be at the floor in front of your mat. And we'll go right into cat-cow. Drop the belly, peek up. Exhale, tuck and round, chin to chest, pull the spine up. Belly lowers, the gaze shifts. Exhale, tuck and round. Three more, moving slowly, moving with your breath. And next time you come into scared cat, pause there, exaggerate the movement, really arch the back, pull that chin towards chest. You might look at the center of your mat. And then go the opposite way, go into cow pose, drop the belly, peek up, pause. And we'll come back into neutral table, keeping the back nice and flat. I'm going to do a few fire hydrants, working the hips, getting some mobility and flexibility, taking that hip joint in its full range of motion. Lift the left hip up, or left knee up to the side without tilting right. Lower down. Of course, we're also working the glutes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Three more. And the final one, the fifth one, you'll keep the knee lifted and then circle the knee forward. And we'll circle backwards. Place the knee down. We'll do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Keeping the back nice and flat, lift the right leg to the side. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Three more. And then once you lift again, we'll do those circles, big circles. You can go backwards. Let's place the knee down, child's pose, toes together, knees wide. Kitty hasn't met Lena, this is Lena. Sink back, walk the hands forward, press the palms in. Lena used to have all these rules she had to follow. One was not going on my yoga mat, but now that we're guessing probably 13, she's a rescue. She doesn't follow the rules anymore. She's like, I'm old enough. Done my time. Walk the hands over to the right. Move from the waist up. Let's get a side extension. Option to put the left hand on top of the right. If the hips, the knees move to the right, let up a little bit. We'll, throughout practice, move our spine, move the spine in seven directions, multiple times. Let's go over to the left. Do the same thing. Move from the waist up. Right hand can go on top of the left. Come back to center. We're going to rise to table again. And then curl the toes. Bring the knees just a few inches off the floor so you're hovering. And remember, an inch is not very big. It's about the size of a paper clip. Hovering and holding, breathing. Lower down. When the knees touch down, shift your way backwards. Put a little pressure on the feet to stretch the bottoms of the feet. This is definitely a pose that goes into the category of much better when it's done. We're going to come back into table pose. Once you're in table pose, point and flex. You can roll the ankles, stretch out the toes, moving in all directions. Bring the feet back down. Take the hands as far forward as you can go, and we'll go into that low back bend, into puppy pose. You have the option to slide the arms straight if that works with your shoulders. If not, keep a little bend in the elbows, pull the face, pull the chest towards the floor. Into all three regions of the spine. And then we'll walk the hands back up, shins and knees together, sinking back into turtle shell once again. You can bring arms beside you, palms up, or maybe grab the feet again. Move side to side. And then we'll come to table pose once again. From table pose, we're going to curl the toes under. Come into that inverted V shape. Come into down dog. Look at the center of the mat. Do not worry about the heels hitting the floor. Just want that V shape. And always, if the eyes are open, you're looking at the center of the mat. It's a little easier on the neck to do that. We'll come back onto the hands and knees, table pose. Once you're in table pose, we're going to take the right leg out behind. Flex the foot, add the left arm. So you're looking at the floor in front of your mat. You're keeping the back nice and flat, nice and long. Thumb towards ceiling or sky, pinky towards the floor. Lower the hand. And with the right leg still lifted, we're going to keep the leg straight, lower the toes down, curl the toes under, and push backwards. So you're not moving backwards, you're just pushing backwards to stretch the back of the leg. Lift the right leg up, step the foot forward. And even if you have to help the foot forward, make sure the knee's in line with ankle. You can move the left knee back. Hi, girls. My neighbor's granddaughters are out and they're saying hi to me. Left hand down, take the right arm out, but you probably already knew they were out playing because you could hear them yelling. They're very vocal little ones. Lower the hands, bring the hands to the thighs, but it's nice they go outside and play. Arms up on an inhale. They are not inside on their devices. Take a big back bend. Look up at the sky or the ceiling. And then let's straighten the back. Bring the hands to heart center. Give yourself a breath in, and we're going to twist to the right. You can stay upright, or you might lean forward and hook elbow outside the knee. Go wide with the arms if you want a little more. So this is a good one for the spine, but also for digestion. Inhale, let's bring the arms back up. Lower the hands down And we're going to shift back into half monkey gut. So now we're stretching the back of the right leg again, but a little deeper. Heel is down, toes up. Lunge in. Once you lunge in, plant the hands, lift the left knee, pushing the left heel towards the floor, and we're twisting again. Right arm comes up. Give it a few breaths here. Dragonfly twist, one of my favorite poses. Lower the hand, and then see if you could step to plank. And you could come to table and then come into plank, and we'll hold our plank for 3. And you can always use your knees for 2. You have a little bend in the elbows for 3. And then if you're not on your knees, come onto your knees and bring yourself onto your belly. And we'll take an even bigger back bend. We'll go into that locust pose. So the chin is down, legs are straight behind, arms beside you, palms up. Lift head, shoulders, chest, lift the legs. Maybe lift the arms. Peek forward. Lower down. Once you lower down, hands under the shoulders, and we're going to push back to turtle shell once again. So it's the idea of a pose and then a counter pose. Come back up to table pose. And once again, we'll revisit down dog. Curl the shoulders. And down dog is not what your shoulders should do. You can come into child's pose. You could come into a forward fold. So lift into down dog, taking a few breaths here. It's nice just to pull, have gravity pull on the spine. We're always getting pulled down. We might as well use it to our advantage. The same thing with the back bends. We take these back bends to strengthen the back, to counter our day, hunching over steering wheels and computers, always getting pulled forward. Come back onto the hands and knees. Bring the big toes together, knees wide, to go back into child's pose. So hopefully we strengthen those back muscles so we don't hunch, we don't lean. We sit up tall. Let's come back up to table pose. We're going to do that sequence on the left side. We'll start with the left leg out and then slowly add the right arm. You can always place the hand down. If you need the hand down, give yourself that support. You're reaching out like you're shaking someone's hand. Lower the hand, legs stay straight. You're bringing the toes down. Once the toes touch down, curl them under, press the leg back. Well, lift the leg, step the foot forward. And if you, like I said, if you need to help that leg into place, you can move the ankle forward to get the ankle in line with the knee. And then maybe scoot the right knee back a bit. Left arm comes up into a twist. Grounded dragonfly, lots of twists. Flexibility and mobility of the spine. Lower the hand. Both hands come onto the thigh. And then we're going to bring the arms up overhead. Spread the arms out wide. If you look up and behind, you're going to get that back bend, but you feel it in the hip flexor too. And re-extend. Hands come to heart center. Taking a breath and get a little length in the spine. Twist to the left on the exhale. You can stay upright with the palms pressing together. Maybe you'll lean forward and hook elbow outside the knee. You can even take the arms wide, right hand towards the floor, left to the ceiling. And inhale, arms come back up. Lower the hands. Once the hands are down, we'll go into half monkey gut on the left side. Fingertips around the foot. You'll just shift back. Toes are up, the heels down. Lunge back in, plant the hands, lift the right knee, lengthen the right leg, and we'll twist once more. Left arm comes up. Lower the hand, stepping back to plank pose once again, or you can come into table pose. If that works better, you can be plank on your knees, lowering onto the forearm plank. Again, give yourself support. If you're planking, if you're sagging, you should be on your knees. Look between the thumbs or in front of the fingers. That helps you not to strain the neck. And just breathe and hold this. Even if you're getting shaky, you probably hear it in my voice. Onto the thighs, uncurl the toes, pose. You can look between the thumbs, keeping the wrists in line with elbows. Elbows are right under the shoulders. If you feel pinching in the low back, take a earlier version of a back bend that we did. You don't want any pinching. Lower down, and we'll push back into turtle shell. Tucking and rounding. Give yourself a few breaths here just to counter our back bend. Bring yourself to table pose once again. And we're going to stretch the shoulder a bit with the back nice and flat, left hand's rooted in. Either take the right arm out in front. If your shoulder's restricted, the arm goes out in front. If you want to open up the chest and sweep the right arm out to the side, you can do that. And then thread it through the right shoulder, the right side of the face, come down. Press the back of the hand into the floor with the palm up. You can keep the left hand where it is, take it forward. You might take it behind the low back. If you take the left hand behind the low back, the next step, which you don't have to do, is taking that left leg straight behind with the toes curled under. And then if you're feeling really feisty, you might lift the left leg up. And this could end your pose, but that's okay. Then you come right back into it. Knees down, left hand down. Take the right arm up on an inhale. Place the hand back down. And we're going to go the opposite way. Either left arm out in front or open it out to the side. Thread it through the shoulder, the side of the face down. And then decide how far you're going in the pose. You might stay here, take the arm around the low back, extending the right leg. And even if you feel a little shaky, if you feel like you're going to fall out of it, if you fall out of it, maybe you try and you lift the leg. Lower the knee, lower the right hand, take that left arm back out to the side or out in front. Place the hand down. And then once again, we're going to come into down dog, Give yourself a few breaths here. So years ago, I used to row, not like kayak rowing, but the rowing you see teams do of 8 in a boat. And it was a lot of fun, but there's just so much you can do in your day. Walk the hands back. And knees are soft, grab the elbows. And most groups that row do it very early in the morning, so it just didn't work for me, teaching in the morning. Let's come up through mountain pose. Exhale, hands come to heart center. So I have a friend, she also rowed, and we were able to get our hands onto, they're called skulls, single skulls. Stand up nice and tall. I'm actually going to turn towards you so you can see what I'm doing. Take the arms up on an inhale. Grab your left wrist, extend over to the right. Keep that left foot rooted. And then we have another friend who's never rowed, but she wanted to learn. Come back through center. So we went out last week, grabbed the right wrist, extend over to the left, and I was still able to do it, which I was surprised because there's a lot of balance that goes on. Come back through center and a lot of coordination, which is a challenge for me sometimes. Take a big back bend, look up and behind. So our friend who had never rowed, and we're teaching her, take a breath in, lift up halfway, peak forward, fingers on shins. Fold back in, and we're going to sit down into chair pose. She was literally shaking in this boat because it can flip. And it's big. It's a big boat to flip. Rise that up. Exhale. Bring the hands to heart center. We're going to take that side extension a little further and add an IT band stretch. Arms up overhead. Grab the left wrist. Stepping left foot over the right, you'll extend right. So I said, well, what's the worst that's going to happen if you flip over? She said, nothing. I said, we're just going to flip the boat back up. You'll get back in. And it took her flipping once for her to relax. It's like falling out of a pose. So what? You fall out of the pose? What's the worst that happens? You come back in it. Cross the right over the left, grab the right wrist, extend left. And even if she didn't know how to swim, we were in really shallow water, so it wouldn't have mattered. Come back through center, but she did know how to swim. Take a back bend, look up and behind. Exhale, fold forward. Breath in, lift up halfway. Fold back in, sit down into chair pose. And then power right back up, mountain pose. Hands to heart center. And then this time, we're going to release our hands by our side. Palms are slightly forward. Lift the toes, spread the toes, stretch them out. Just keep lifting, keep stretching, and just work from the pinky toes in to lower the toes down. Let the big toe be the last to touch down. And then keeping the toes down, rock up onto the toes, lift the heels. See if you can hold this for 3 breaths. So you gotta work those walking muscles. Keep us healthy and strong. Lower the heels down. My heels lowered themselves down. Bring the arms back up on an inhale. Fold forward. And then as you lift up halfway, fingers on shins, peek forward. Your back is as flat as a table here. Fold back in. Sit down into chair. Come up to mountain pose. Hands to heart center. And let's work on a couple balancing poses before we go back on the mat. Standing up nice and tall. We're going to start with tree pose, and then we're going to do a standing sequence. Come back to tree pose and see if it feels a little different. So you can start on either side. Maybe start on your weaker side. Put the foot either at the calf, the ankle, or the thigh, not at the knee. And then once you're there, you might adjust where the hands are. Maybe get some branches. The wind stops out here and it got very warm. And then we'll come out of the pose. Do it on the opposite side. So open the hip to the side without turning to the side. And even if you're bringing the foot right into place, you can do that. And if you have the foot at the side, let the two work against each other to hold you in place. And let's come out of the pose. You can shake it out. I'm going to grab a sip of water here. Step wide on your mat. And once you have the feet wide, take the arms out wide. Turn the right toes forward, lunge into warrior 2. Look at that right middle finger. And then reverse, left hand down, take the right arm up and over, reverse warrior. Look towards the right arm. Go wide with the arms, side angle. Bring the forearm to the thigh. Left hand can be on the hip. You can extend the left arm up. You could also bring the right fingers down to the floor. Rise up. Once you're upright, straighten the front leg, triangle pose. Right hand lowers, left arm lifts. Rise up. And let's go into the opposite side. Lunge into warrior two. So you have the front heel back, instep in line. You're pushing into that back leg. Arms are wide, palms are down. Reverse, right hand down, move from the waist up, left arm up and over. Arms wide, palms are down. Triangle, or side angle, do side angle before we do triangle. Again, you could come into the full version with the fingers down on the floor or on a block. We'll root and rise. We're going to use the breath to come back up, warrior two, so a lot of core here. Straighten the front leg, triangle pose. Left hand down, right arm reaches up. And again, if it's too much for the shoulder, the hand can be on the hip. Rise back up, turn towards the long edge of the mat, toes in, heels out, star pose, arms are up and overhead, big, big back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Take a breath in, lift up halfway, peek forward, and then see if you can fold in deeper. Hands to hips, rise to standing. Step the feet together. Well, not totally together, we're about hip distance, so probably 5-6 inches apart. Standing up tall, and we're gonna revisit tree pose. Standing up nice and tall, start on whichever side you prefer. Move slow, never momentum. In a balancing pose. See if you can hold it a little longer, maybe lift that leg a little higher. And let's take it on the opposite side. Come back to your foundation though, not clenching the toes. That's why I always do that exercise to lift and spread the toes, because we want to be rooted. We always build from the ground up. We'll take this on the opposite side. Let's bring hands to heart center. Lower the left foot, fold forward. In your fold, you could hook big toes. You could grab the elbows. You might take hands behind the calves. And then releasing, we're gonna work the feet slightly wider than the hips, angle the toes out, come down into yoga squat. You need to sit on a block, or if you don't have a block, you can use a book. You can sit right down, push on the knees with the elbows. So last week, I made the decision to replace our 28-year-old outboard motor on our sailboat. So we get the new motor. It weighs 111 pounds. And my husband and I are like, 111 pounds, we got to put this thing on. But we have a little secret weapon. We have a 28-year-old son. Let's sit right down on the mat. Right leg is straight. Pull the left leg in. Flex the foot. You've got that thigh and stomach together. And we're going to take a twist with the left hand behind. Right arm wraps around. Shift the gaze over the left shoulder. So my son played hockey, and they always, all through high school, and he did the yoga once a week with the hockey team. And then he did some yoga after, of course, coming into the studio, and he still does a lot of the stretches on his own, even though he can't always get into a class. Come back to center, mimic that tree pose, drop the left knee to the floor, sole the foot to the thigh, arms up, turn, come over the right leg. So he met us to put the motor on. He holds this motor and goes into a yoga squat and puts it right in place. It was very impressive, but the benefits of yoga. He had good flexibility. Rise up. We're going to straighten the left leg. Pull the right leg in. Sit up nice and tall. The motor is the same age as him, the old motor. Right hand behind, twist, look over the right shoulder. Come back to center, and then same thing. We're going to drop the knee to the floor, sole of the foot to the thigh. Arms come up and just turn slightly so you can fold over that left leg. And come back up, bring soles of feet together so you're in a seated cobbler's pose. And there's always options in poses. You can just sit here. If you want to push the hands on the knees, you could walk right over the legs. Another option, which is a little intense but is a good stretch, is sliding the hands under the shins, and you'll grab the toes from the outside. They get you a stretch in the low back, but it might be a little too much. So, and you can always try a pose, a modification of a pose, and alter if you need to. Rise up. Plant the feet. This is Buster, the second one. Arms are out in front, palms forward. Slowly, slowly lower onto your back using your core. And if you need support, you can put your hands behind your back to come onto your back. Once you are on your back, adjusting so that the ankles are in line with knees, knees in line with hips. And then you just gotta tilt the pelvis so your back is grounded on the mat. And we're gonna bring the hands behind the head, interlace the fingers, elbows wide. Exhale, lift head and shoulders. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower down. And we're going to do this a few more times. Once you lower the head down, release the hands beside you, palms are down. And then lift the hips to come into bridge pose. Try not to clench any muscles as you do this. Lift straight up. Lower down. And then we're going to pull the right knee in towards you. Push the right foot up towards the ceiling or the sky. Flex the foot. Arms are beside you, palms are down. One-legged bridge, lift the hips. Lower down, cross the ankle over the thigh, right ankle's over left thigh. Bring yourself into reclined pigeon, pull that left knee in. And you could just use the leverage of the legs. You could bind with hands around chin, thigh. You could use your strap. The right knee moves away, that left knee comes in. Lower the left foot down. We're going to place the right foot down. We're going to bring the left knee in. Take the foot towards the ceiling. Arms are beside you, palms down, and we're back in one-legged bridge on the opposite side. So this is more for the glutes. It's also for the back, but you probably aren't going to lift as high. Lower down, ankle is over thigh. And then taking your version of reclined pigeon. And note that the sides could feel different. This is a very tight side for me. I'm just going to use my hand on my knee to push my left knee a bit away. Place the right foot down, left foot is down. We're going to stretch out long on the mat. Point the toes away, reach the arms overhead. Stretching out, imagining you are getting taller, you're getting longer on your mat. And then let's bring the knees in, both knees in. Lift the head, tuck in around. And if you have any issues with the neck, you can skip the lifting of the head. Lower the head down, keep the knees in. We're going to go wide with the arms, palms up, spinal twist. Knees right, turn the head left. Knees will come through center on the inhale, and then slowly use the exhale to let the knees go left. You can shift the head right. Come back through center. Find your way into your final pose, your place of rest, Shavasana. And if you do have issues with the low back, I encourage you not to be in straight out traditional Shavasana. Either have the feet planted, have the knees a little wider, knees drop in on each other. You can always put your legs on a chair. The front edge of the chair comes right behind the knees. You might put a block under the low back. It's coming to that place where you can rest, you can be still. You can rejuvenate for the second half of your day. You have the option if you'd like to continue on in Shavasana. Feel free to do that. If you are ready to move out, take a big, big stretch. Reach the arms overhead. Pull the knees in towards chest. over onto your side. And then from there, come up to seated. Eyes closed, hands at heart center. Together, we'll take our final breath in through the nose. Let it go out the mouth. Thank you as always for taking time out of your day to take care of yourself. Namaste. Well, thank you. I have figured out all my recording and how to do everything to start posting some of these classes to YouTube. So I will let everybody know it's required 2 different earbuds connected to 2 different machines. lots of configuring, but I have it all figured out. So I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Donna has inspired me. She can be my manager. So it and nice to have you on, Class Kitty. It's nice when someone refers someone, and hopefully we'll see you again virtually or even in person. So the Healthy Back is only online, and then we do have a couple gentles in other classes. Our schedule is very diverse. So all right, well, everyone, enjoy the rest of the day. Hopefully you're going to get lunch. All right, bye-bye. You're welcome, Donna. Bye, Sue.